For the fourth precept in Buddhism. He started using it in 1991. Businesses use it. They have business seminars called deep listening. The psychologists use it. It's used by spiritual groups, by all kinds of people doing all kinds of things, and I'm happy about it because anytime you have people listening and doing it with depth, I think that change and good negotiation can come about. So that's important. So deep listening are. And so the band specializes in performing and recording in resonant or reverberant spaces such as cathedrals and large underground cisterns, including the 2 million gallons it held, Fort Worden cistern, in the 45-second reverberation time. It's 14 feet high. It's made of reinforced concrete. It has 89 pillars in it, and it's about 60 feet in diameter. It's a little bit on the oval side. I mean, it's not a perfect circle. And the only entrance to the cistern is an opening that's like a square manhole, and you go down the ladder into it, which we'll be doing in the morning with groups of students to go down there and create something. Okay. Deep Listening 1989. Our CD, our first CD, and the one that defined us as the Deep Listening Band, was produced by New Albion, and this CD has remained continuously in print for the past 20 years. It's a kind of an underground cult classic. You like to get it, and so oops, do that back here. So what I'd like to do is give you a sample from the CD, let you listen to a track. Probably sound better than I do. And let me tell you a little bit about it before I play it. First of all, when we went down into the cistern, we didn't have anything planned except to listen and play. And as a matter of fact, that is our modus operandi. We don't have any written scores. In fact, we have commissioned other composers to make pieces for us, but our stipulation is no music stands. Meaning, don't write any notes. So, that's a nice challenge for a composer. So that's how we work. We went down into the cistern and we played. The only thing that we kind of prepared was to tune Stuart Dempster's Didgeridoo to my accordion. And Stuart was, this is going to be a little tangent now before I play the piece for you. Stuart, in the 60s, went to Australia and studied didgeridoo with an Australian Aboriginal master. And he was one of the first, I think, to do that. And he came back and worked on playing didgeridoo and got very into it. And eventually what he did, instead of playing the Aboriginal instrument, which is a long eucalyptus branch that's usually hollowed out by termites, he started using ABC pipe, plastic pipe. And it was really out of respect for the Aboriginals not to use their instrument in the way that he was using it in experimental music. But he also was, Stuart is very deeply attuned to to physical body. He can scan the body with his didgeridoo sounding and discover anywhere there is blocked energy and then work on it and release it. So he does what he calls a sound massage parlor with his didgeridoo. And when he works on you with that. And it's very effective, I must say. I have to tell you a personal story. My mother was having a problem with her shoulder, and she couldn't raise her arm, and she had a pain in the shoulder. And she knew about Stuart, and she said, I want to have didgeridoo treatment. So she lived in Houston, Texas, and Stuart, of course, lived in Seattle. So I said, I got Stuart, I said, would you please call my mother and give her a treatment? And so he did. He called her up, and he scanned her over the phone, and gave her a treatment, and within 20 minutes, she could raise her arm. She hadn't, she still had a bit of pain, but she was able to raise her arm. Next week, he called her again and did another treatment, and the pain went away. And she never had another problem with it again. And Stuart began a weekly call with my mother, and he would talk to her a while, and then he would do a ditch treatment, and she got so she would just move the phone around wherever she felt like she needed it's a beautiful story, and I think he would send me an email about that, and we would call it the Edith Report. And he would tell me, what they had accomplished in that. And there was something like 160 of those reports. And I have to say one more because it's such a nice story. The Deep Listening Band performed at the Sound Symposium in St. John's in Newfoundland. And so Stuart decided to do an Edith treatment and to invite all the audience to sing with him and send her healing. So the time came, and we had a machine set up so that you could hear Edith, and everybody could sing to her as Stuart did his didgeridoo. Well, she was ready, and when she got the call, she was all ready, and she had composed a song to sing to Stuart, and she sang it to him. And the whole audience at the Sound Symposium heard her singing her didgeridoo song to Stuart, and they all joined in and did a healing for her. So this was a very, very important part of her healing in her life. She passed away in February at 96. But it was a wonderful thing. Sorry about that. It was just a little extra story for you. But so that gives you an idea of who Stuart is. He's a wonderful healer, as well as one of the premier musicians that we have. He's got a golden ear, I would say. David Gamper is not on this particular original 1988 recording. It's Panagiotis, who is a vocalist, and he was a very interesting performer and very good listener. So what I think I'll do is play you this track. I was going to tell you about the track. Instead, I told you about Stuart. Okay, that's what happens to me in PowerPoint presentation. But the track that I want to play is the second track. It's called Suirin. Suirin is Stuart's wife, her artist name. She's Japanese American. So Suirin is her name, and so this is the piece. As I said, we didn't plan anything. We went down and played it. We did all the naming of the pieces after the